You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Bill, Clayton, Frank, Bob, if you needed one thing to show the aliens when they get here about Carmelo, that might be it. That might be his magnum opus.
Frank is weeping right now.
Also, a 6'7", 282-pound, 52 home run, 200 strikeout leadoff hitter.
I like it. A New York-centric show. Way to go.
Yeah. It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reali.
Did the NBA ask the Bulls to stop tanking so hard? Robin Lopez, Justin Holiday, healthy scratches just about every game since the break. Cristiano Felicio and David Nwaba were playing in their stay. Now, after a conversation with the league, which has been described as cordial and cooperative, they're going to go back to Lopez and Holiday. Bill, let me ask you this. Do you see it as the NBA's place to be involved in such team affairs?
It's a very sensitive subject, talking to someone from L.A., considering the NBA, David Stern, changed the entire landscape out here when he nullified the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers, which was wrong.
We're not talking about that right now.
But I don't care. It's the same thing, Tony. NBA, mind your own business. Stay out of these teams' business. Let the teams run themselves. NBA's got no place getting involved with a team with the lineup they put out there. They want to change the lottery rules, fine. Change the draft rules, fine. Take care of your own house. Don't get involved in the Bulls or anybody else, any team you think is tanking. Let them take care of themselves. That's what their fans want. That's what their ownership wants.
So Bill says mind your own business. Clinton, is this the NBA's business?
Yeah, I don't mind the NBA getting involved, but I don't like the fact that this is happening on such a case-by-case basis. It feels like when a professor at the end of a semester is just sort of letting random students decide when they want to turn their stuff in, and as a result, you can get a better grade at the end. There's something that makes this seem like they have literally no idea what they're doing at all when it comes to fixing this. Otherwise, you would have, as Bill said, a blanket rule. Allowing one random team to sort of pinpoint which player is going to go where is a real indication of a lack of concern in terms of their ability to know, and I don't know, man. This seems very, very awkward going forward for the rest of the league.
Frank, you have a read on this?
Yeah, I think it's laughable. You know, this isn't Kevin Love, LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving sitting on the bench in L.A. last year, sipping coffee and tea while their teammates are playing in a nationally televised game. It's Robin Lopez and Justin Holiday. What are we talking about here? And guess what? Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, they've been playing. That's their core group of players. Last year, Holiday and Lopez were on the team, and they won 41 games with Jimmy Butler, with Rondo, and with Dwayne Wade. It's not like they impact winning that much. Why can't the Bulls try to evaluate other players without being called on the carpet for it?
But this is all about is tanking, right? Right, Bob? This is about tanking. The league doesn't want a team to basically give up the last 19 games of the season.
No, they don't, and they tried to address this in the offseason by tweaking the lottery process, but obviously not enough to deter people from wanting to do this, okay? But my little twist on the currency here is this. We don't have a need to know. I don't understand why the NBA is so transparent as they are, for example, by letting the world know when a referee messes up in the last 2 minutes of a game. We don't need to know this. I think they should keep everything in-house.
Okay, so you think there's too much information?
I don't get what they're trying to prove by letting us know.
That's a great line there. The league is too transparent. We're all asking for more transparency in the world. And Bob's like, the NBA, too transparent. You know, they did come up with the rule where they could fine teams for resting healthy players, which some thought was the Popovich rule because of those nationally televised games, but it could also apply to tanking here. There was no fine here. So we're going to move on. Western Conference. NBA. I said this yesterday. None of the panel was buying. Let's try it out with you guys. Have you ever seen a conference where everybody looks to be on a tear? 1 through 10, with the exception of the Spurs and T-Wolves who have injuries. Blazers 8 in a row. Pelicans 9 in a row. The Rockets 16 in a row.
What the hell?
Clinton, where is the help? Which hot streak has been most impressive to you? Answer that question.
For me, it's got to be the Rockets. I still think this team has a very good chance and will win the NBA title. They're the sixth team in NBA history that's got 2 14-game win streaks in one season. I just love watching this team play. Chris Paul gives them a leadership element that really makes them confident in a way that I haven't seen James Harden play in a long time. PJ Tucker's a guy. I mean, look, that dude coming from where he has been, he's a Europe guy. He's playing not only great defense, he's hitting threes all over the place. The Rockets are the most fun team to watch in the NBA, and that includes the Warriors. It's kind of amazing to say, but I still believe it.
Just call somebody a Europe guy?
Yeah, like my man. You go to Europe, you come back, I love those players, Tony. Reclamation projects, it works better for me.
Fred Gaisola.
It is amazing when you think about the top 4 teams in the Western Conference, Houston, Golden State, Portland, and New Orleans. Think about that. We're considering New Orleans to have top 4. They're on a combined 38-game winning streak right now, and I'm going with New Orleans because they lost DeMarcus Cousins, number 1. And Anthony Davis, we're finally starting to see what type of player he can become. And they need those 9 wins in a row. Do you know, because they had a leak in their arena, they're playing Indiana in about 10 days. They're playing 5 games in 6 days. 5 games in a league where everybody rests. They're actually going to play back-to-back games. So they need to win these games right now.
Bob Ryan?
Interesting to cause and effect. No Boogie, more AD. I'm just throwing that out there, and that's been to their benefit. But I will go with the Rockets as well, who have been just uniformly excellent from start to finish with these 2 lengthy winning streaks in a row. They put themselves in a small historical niche, and I will say that I'm most impressed with them.
Mm-hmm. Bill Plaschke?
I'm going with a team that's won 9 straight games with Emeka Okafor playing some of those games as a starting center. Nicholas Mirotic is involved in that game. Etuan Moore's involved in this. Rajon Rondo's. People thought Alvin Gentry was done. They thought Rajon Rondo was done. Yeah. All these guys were done. 9 straight, and during their 9-game winning streak, they averaged 126 points a game. The Rockets have averaged 114 a game during their 16-game streak. So they've been scoring at a higher pace than the Rockets during their winning streak with a bunch of guys. And Anthony Davis, 38-14. He's shooting 42% from three-point line. It's been unbelievable during.
And have you tempted to give Anthony Davis the MVP over James Harden, over LeBron? Plaschke, you could answer that.
I think he has to be a leader right now. I mean, he's carrying that team into the playoffs, into a top seed, into a home court advantage in the playoffs. Harden's got Chris Paul. Harden's got Clint Capella. Harden's got a good defense. Anthony Davis, who does he have?
Lynn Yates?
Yeah, it's also one of those things where it depends on how you define value. If I'm just going to take an outstanding player on a very good team, clearly I'm going to take Harden. But if you took away one guy from the squad, I think Davis is probably worth a little bit more to that team than Harden is to the Rockets.
Wow, man, you guys, what does Harden have? Is that what Bill is saying? He's got 50 wins, Bill. They're competing right now for the best record in the NBA. And think about this. We always thought if LeBron played every game, how could he not win MVP? Guess what? LeBron has played every game, and I would put him at number 2, but Harden right now is number 1. He's
We'll be having this argument, valuable versus player of the year, in the year 21-18, and we'll never make everybody happy. The best player is Harden right now. He should be the winner.
All right. Last thing on the Rockets. They're on the back-to-back. They're at Milwaukee. So back-to-back versus the Bucks to get to 17 games. They're going to get there, Plaschke?
No, it's a back-to-back. It's one of those games they're going to be wiped out. They lose tonight.
Yates?
Yes, I believe in the Arugulas.
Isola?
17 in a row for the Houston Rockets.
The Bucks beat the Lakers, ended their 33-game winning streak back in 1970.
Sure, yeah, same roster on the court tonight. A lot of people don't know that. Hey, I'm here for history. There you go.
Why do you bring that up, Bob? Why do you got to keep bringing that up?
Eat it, Lakers.
Same city.
We'll move on. CBSSports.com report. Memphis officials seriously considering Penny Hardaway to replace Tubby Smith. Hardaway, of course, Memphis man, coach at East High School in Memphis right now, and also AAU team Penny Nike. Frank, what are your thoughts on Memphis and Penny?
I don't think it's the craziest thing. He's a big part of the Memphis community. The fact that he's involved in coaching, so he has access to the recruits. I also think the big thing here, he's talked about hiring Larry Brown as his number 1 assistant coach, which would be big because if you're Penny Hardaway, coaching, but Larry Brown has coached the college game before. So from that standpoint, a combination of Penny Hardaway and Larry Brown, I think that'd be pretty good for Memphis.
Bob Ryan?
Desperate times often call for desperate measures, and they are desperate in Memphis. They have fallen 10 years ago. They come within one miracle shot by Mario Chalmers of winning a championship, and now they can't even draw 7,000 people in a city that loves college basketball. I think I can understand why they're thinking about this.
That's kind of the crux of this, if you read Gary Parrish's article, that they're now way down in attendance. Bringing back a guy who, Memphis fans love Penny Hardaway, of course, with good reason, Plashke. You think it's the right move?
Well, let me see if I got this right. This is a team that's already a program that's vacated Final Four appearances twice under Dana Kirk and under John Calipari. Twice, the last 2 times they went to the Final Four, the NCAA penalized them, vacated the wins there. So they're now going to hire an AAU coach in this AAU-ridden environment to lead this team who's never coached college basketball before. This is rife with trouble. What are they doing to themselves? What are they thinking?
They don't care.
Yates, do you have a suspicion as well? Because Penny is, I guess he's a high school coach and an AAU coach.
No,
I don't have suspicion over the idea of AAU even being involved here?
Not at all, because in the order of operations of things that are messed up when it comes to college basketball, it goes NCAA 1, coaches 2nd, AAU 3rd. Not to mention, Tubby Smith needs to go anyway. Did you hear all that nonsense he was saying about whether or not players should be able to transfer and this, that, and third? The game and the culture of basketball has passed him by. Guys are jettisoning from that program altogether. Bringing back a guy who's a community guy who everybody knows makes sense. It's a gamble worth taking, in my opinion.
Anybody else have similar suspicion to Plashke? Just at the idea that an AAU coach would be a college coach. Bob Ryan, you want to address that?
I'm stunned that I had those.
I don't know how to phrase this without getting in trouble, but they don't care in Memphis. They want to win, and if they win another and have another thing vacated, but they got to the Final Four, you're going to tell the people they didn't see the games?
To be the first one to have 3 vacated Final Fours?
They don't care.
I just saw a championship vacated in Louisville. I saw the last word after the whole
but
it's amazing. Who does Bill want as the coach here? I mean, just because Dana Kirk, they cheated, John Calipari had the Final Four vacated, that means that Penny Hardaway is going to cheat? They'll hire the Pope, Bill. How about that? They'll go to the Vatican and see if he'll take the job.
But, Bill, what I was saying was that a title was just vacated by Louisville. That was my point was it happened, and you saw what the national consensus was. Nobody cared. Nobody is expunging from their memory the fact that Louisville won that title.
AAU is an AAU coach. Doesn't AAU mean anything? That's got to be a black mark for any sport.
But as Clint said, it's not the NCAA a black mark with their $1 billion in revenue that we just
fine, but still,
we had coaches who could be fired at any moment in Hall of Fame programs right here.
Fine, go ahead, hire.
Plashke 10, Yates 13. I sold the 13. Ryan 9. Taking a break right here. Buy or sell in 4 minutes and 14 seconds. I counted. Stick around.
Frank,
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Disclaimer, you will not be transported to the top of the world. In the unlikely event you find yourself at the Arctic Circle, seek shelter from the elements immediately to avoid frostbite and or hypothermia. Geico will not be responsible if you find yourself in a cave or crevasse with a lonely abominable snowman, who in all likelihood will force you to play games including but not limited to Go Fish, charades, Chinese checkers, or his personal favorite, Red Rover, send Yeti on over. Geico is not liable for any damages, either physical or emotional.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Buy or sell.
2 Seattle Seahawks stories I want to get your take on. One, tell me how you read this. Jeremy Lane, damn, 25 was my dog. What's next? Cam Chancellor, also with one, giving thanks for Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman's mom on Facebook as well. Schefter is reporting Sherman and any meeting concerning his future with the Seahawks will happen when he sees the team this week in Vegas. That's one. B, Seahawks trading Michael Bennett today to Philadelphia, a 5th-round pick coming back. What are you buying? What are you selling, Plashke?
This is what happens when you give up 42 points to the Rams in December. The Legion of Boom is done. They're bust. You got Averill and Chancellor aren't going to be back next year. Bennett's gone. I can't imagine Sherman staying. Pete Carroll is a coach known for evolving, known for getting rid of guys who aren't ready to play. So if
you're the Seahawks, Bill, point blank, is this rebuild or is this reload? You're rebuilding.
I think you've got to rebuild. You can't reload at this point.
Yates, how about you?
Gone.
As a fan of football overall, I'm bummed, man. I can see the 30 for 30 now. What if I told you could be outspoken and still win? There is something to be said about who this team was off the field and in the locker room in terms of how they spoke out about what's going on in America, and seeing that go away as a result of football reasons. It's kind of a bummer for me overall as a fan of the NFL.
But you'd agree it's going away because of football reasons,
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, certainly.
Been injured,
between injuries and the rest. Yeah, certainly.
Okay. Frank Isola?
And let's remember, this group was one play away from winning 2 Super Bowls. And I think Bennett, when you look at him, 5 of the last 6 years, he's appeared in all 16 games. So to me, he still has a lot left, even at 32. But Richard Sherman, he's the voice of that team. You know, he's everything about that team. But coming back from that Achilles, it sounds like they're probably going to eventually cut him and take the $2 million cap hit.
That's how you're reading his teammates kind of saying goodbye to him?
Yep.
Even though we have no firm reporting on that. Go ahead, Bob Ryan. How about you?
Well, the Legion of Boom, that's so then, it's over, clearly. And who didn't see this coming? I don't quite understand anybody being surprised at any of the specifics that shake out of this, because this goes back in the middle of the season. People were talking about these things were going to have to change, and as far as Sherman's concerned, it's going to be hard to trade him with those two problems he's got. But, it's over. They're done. I mean, in that regard, no more Legion of Boom.
For somebody who said this is not a story, you just spent about 45 seconds of your FaceTime on it.
No, but it's not a new. I'm not shocked. Who's shocked? Why should